Yeah, so when we bring Dawn in, it'll be on this side, eh? So we'll just...
Yeah, I'll leave room for him when he
I just want to make sure that
I already announced
This
it.
is my camera.
make sure that we're also live on YouTube.
Check out our YouTube channel. Everything's gonna be on there too.
Yeah, it's coming up. So we are also live on YouTube. Yeah, there's YouTube. And there's Facebook. Facebook and YouTube. Okay.
All kinds of lags, but it's fine.
A lot of lags, but you know what?
You guys will get
works.
it delivered in
Yeah.
what seems like real time.
Yeah.
For a
So
couple
the mic
seconds.
is working, so we're good. Okay. Kyle, take your seat. I'm gonna go this way, and we're gonna kind of
Yeah, you want me
do this.
Are you live?
Yes, we're going live right now.
Can you please give me my boots and my thing? I've got to close up the chickens. I totally forgot.
Okay.
Chicken.
And my coat.
You just use mine.
And my coat.
Yours are
I don't care.
Sorry.
We have a special guest.
And coat.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Why are we ever behind, eh? You just told me to take my seat now.
We'll be there in a minute. Keep them entertained, Taylor. We'll be back in a second.
Great. No pressure. How's it? How many people are on here? I'm gonna do comments too as we go. So you guys can ask questions, we'll answer. And let us know if things are falling apart technologically like they do sometimes on these things. Yeah, here we go.
Oops.
6 people. Where is everyone from?
Uh-oh.
And if you... Oh, out of focus.
It's okay, you're still good.
That's fine. If you haven't tuned in before, we are at our headquarters, is what we call it. We're out in Maxville, Ottawa, Ontario. Hello, parapeeps. Hello. We have any of our regulars here. Some of you tune in every week, and that's super awesome. You get to know us. I think I'm a familiar face. I've been here for a while. Dan and Kyle too, actually. We're all pretty old members, but you'll get to meet someone new tonight. And what piece of equipment are you guys looking at today?
I don't know, even know what he's doing.
Okay, Dan's got some equipment that we're gonna look at. Central PA. Penn State University. Isn't Penn State haunted?
Yeah, that's supposed to be. Yeah. Hey, Dan.
Ooh.
Hey.
Maybe we'll be coming to see you.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Dan.
Yes.
One of the cameras is out of focus there.
Which one?
The left cam.
Which one?
City technical difficulties. Hi, Cheryl. Ooh, Alabama.
Okay.
Very cool.
Well,
I'm
that's
excited to
good.
go to the
You get
US
to
in the
this one
summer.
here.
We got an investigation
Left
there. If
cam?
you were
Yeah.
listening last week.
Whoops.
I've
Hey,
never
folks.
been to the US. So, is
Okay,
anyone
right
from
center
Iowa
cam.
here? 'Cause we'll be in Iowa.
Left cam. This one here.
Yeah, it's that one.
It always does. Like it gets glitches in. But we were fine. Everything was good. What's going on? Oh, it's not even filming right now. It's off.
Paranormal State, yeah.
What's on?
There was that show, and they had
Yeah, hold on.
they had like a.
We're having technical difficulties. We're gonna stop the stream for now for 2 seconds.
Okay, we'll be back.
We'll be back in 2 seconds. It's almost like this room is jinxed.
Or
Like
haunted?
I don't know what it is. Maybe it is haunted.
Yeah.
But anyways, the YouTube live feed is still going on, so we need to be diligent.
Maybe it's the woman that's haunted me there the last month. I haven't told you about that.
Let me
yet.
check something there.
Two investigators from Iowa. Okay.
Because the camera seemed fine at first, right?
Maybe we can
Yes.
collaborate with them while we're there.
Left cam,
we're probably
left
going
cam
to
should
end
be
up
this one here.
interviewing
And why is it?
anyone that's been to the Ballistic Axe
why
Murder
is it
House
not
just
working?
to see what other paranormal
Now you
things
got
have
both of them,
found.
but oh.
We're gonna be reviewing different accounts.
Is there like an
Of course,
adjust
trying
here?
to
Can you
debunk
adjust it, or?
things.
Oh, there it
As
is.
we do.
I got it.
What'd you do?
Pretty cool.
I
would love
played
to
with
visit
the
Penn State.
USB.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the US has got some
Left
good
cam, okay.
locations, but honestly,
What's this one?
Canada
Oh, that's the
has,
other one. Okay.
like, Ottawa
Okay.
and Kingston. And Canada are two of the most haunted.
We're still live on YouTube.
I know. I'm talking to them.
Oh, you are? Okay. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna start the. We're gonna restart the live feed on Facebook here.
Talking to myself.
Yeah.
We're gonna restart the live feed on Facebook.
Yeah.
Mon Dieu, c'est pas drôle, hein? We're still live on YouTube. Okay. Here we go. So I'm gonna get you going there, Kyle.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, well, can I go to the bathroom then while we're on pause? Hi.
Just.
Is it back on?
We're just on right now.
It's fine, we'll rotate.
We'll let you go to the bathroom now.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so we're on. We're still on YouTube, so we're good. So we are live once again. Hopefully everything's working. So we're live on Facebook. I'm gonna go to the front, and we're still live on YouTube. So we're gonna let Kyle take this over. And there's a dock in the corner. I'll let you know when to go to that. Okay, so we're good. All right.
Alright.
Oh, finally. We always
gee.
have these stupid glitches.
Yeah,
Like that. It doesn't,
we're also in the middle of nowhere, so like
Yeah.
Wi-Fi is tricky, and there's goats.
yeah, I got goats, and they're a pain in the
Goats
butt,
and ghosts.
and they got horns, and they destroy my car in my house, right?
Yeah.
And they hurt people. Anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, again, it's me and Taylor. We have a couple. Actually, Kyle is actually doing the live feed for us tonight. He's sitting at the laptop. Kyle, show your face. There's Kyle.
Howdy all.
So Kyle is doing a live feed for us tonight. Could you bring up my document on the far bottom corner, Kyle?
Where are we here?
Right on the right side of OBS.
Right here?
Yeah, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just bring that up. Okay. So this is our 5th episode of Ghost Talks.
It doesn't feel like 5 months.
No, it doesn't feel like 5 months. So the main topic of discussion today is going to be was going to be the ghost box, which is in the kitchen. I'll go get that in a minute. So we're going to talk about the ghost box and how it's used in the paranormal field. And we were going to do a little thing on the thermal camera. We're going to keep that for another episode because we couldn't, we don't have it right now. So we'll do specifically the ghost box. And Taylor has something she wants to talk about, what has to do with electromagnetic fields, right? That you researched. And,
yeah, I mean all kinds of things, but I feel like we refer to EMF in a very general way, but I'm going to be kind of breaking it down, what it stands for, what those different types of fields are, the electric fields and the magnetic fields and the volts and the milligauss, and how our equipment kind of is measuring different things, and
Yeah.
and then how those can conduct and contribute to activity and all the other different things that contribute to paranormal activity.
Yeah. So what are our thoughts on the ghost box, the spirit box? Like, we know in the paranormal field, it's not a renowned piece of equipment. It's fun, right? So, if we look at science, like we try to be a scientific group, right? As much as we can.
Yeah,
now, if we look at science and what science really is, I still need my cue card.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were done with that.
So science it's about acquiring knowledge. It's about careful observation of your surroundings. It's about being skeptic. It's about methodology, being experimental, measured based testing. There's a lot of things that paranormal teams should be doing to investigate the paranormal. And
I think with the ghost box, we are as scientific as we possibly can be with a machine like that. We have come up with a whole new way to use it, to eliminate biases, which I actually have some pointers that I've recently learned. Like, we're always trying to learn new ways to improve, and if you guys ever know anything, we always say that, comment. And I have a couple pointers that I may bring up that some of my friends told me that we can even make it better. But yeah.
So why do we use this kind of equipment? Why do we use it?
I think all of the equipment we use to corroborate with the other equipment. Like, I think we're just trying to have more than one piece work together in a way that's compelling, that eliminates, you know, because just one piece of equipment alone is, you just can't really take it with a grain of salt. So I mean, we use the Ghost Box because it's fun. We use it when we have
it's a
people
fun,
with
it's a
us,
fun
like,
piece of equipment to play around
just,
with, but
it's
it's not.
interactive and real time kind of thing. It's out loud, so you can kind of like, it's almost like a telephone to the dead, but like, is it really communicating with the dead? That's so hard to say. It's one of those just imperfect pieces of equipment. You can get radio things coming in. Those voices, those sounds that you get could be from tons of other radio waves. I mean, we use the Faraday cage, which helps a lot. I'm actually going to be talking about the Faraday cage a tiny bit when I'm talking about electric fields and stuff like that. But yeah.
So if we look at science as a base of how we investigate the paranormal, it is about doing experiments. It is about doing testing based on certain hypotheses that say that this is a possibility. So that's the approach that our team has, is about experimenting with certain things, certain equipment, and trying to validate these possible hypotheses about these pieces of equipment, whether it's possible or not. And that's the scientific approach, as far as we know. That's the best way to look at it. It's you know, there's nothing that proves that these pieces of equipment actually work, but we have to test them out and find out if it's actually possible. So now you wanted to talk about electromagnetic fields.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that after you talk about the box, then maybe what I say will tie in. And this doesn't really matter what order we do it in.
So,
it's kind of related, but
I'll go get the spirit box. I mean, most people know what it is.
Still need a cue card?
You don't know.
I'll go over how we use the Ghost Box for anyone who's new here.
I'll be back in live and unedited. That's what we do.
So the Ghost Box, the way that we have kind of tweaked things to make it as scientific as possible, it can't be perfect because this piece of equipment, just the nature of it is not the most believable thing, but we have eliminated biases. So instead of having this thing play out loud, where everyone can be in their mind sort of expecting an answer to a question, like we ask what city are you in, we all know that we're waiting for it to say Ottawa or Montreal or wherever we are. So when you hear gibberish, your brain can hear what you're looking for in that gibberish. Our brains are programmed that way. So we use noise cancelling headphones, which I wanted to tell you, I have a friend who is in tech, and he was looking at the headphones that we use, and he said that we need passive headphones. That will be the most noise cancelling that you can possibly get.
Passive headphones?
Passive,
okay.
Yeah. I don't think the ones we use are, but either way. And I think when we're doing experiments, when we're on investigations, I don't know if we've done this before, and it's just something we didn't think of, but we should be holding like a mic up, or like if we're filming for where the public's going to see it, just so they can hear how loud it really is. Because like at this point, I think they're just sort of taking our word for it that we can't hear anything, you know, that we have the Ghost Box going loud, but we'll just show them to make sure you guys know, like, we're not, I don't know, we would never fake anything, we're not, we have it on so that we can't hear the questions, so we're not expecting any answers, we are just mad-libbing, we are just saying whatever words that we hear, and we're trying to use the best headphones for that to make sure it's canceled out. We want to make sure that you guys, it's like you're here with us and we can prove to you, like, these are sounds that are in our ears, like, we can't hear anything, it's super loud. So we're always trying to improve and make it the most believable, the most
most realistic,
scientific, most realistic that we can.
See, the problem is with let's say the Ghost Box is that again there's no scientific proof that this is a Ghost Box, and most people know what a Ghost Box is. So I'll get close to the camera to show you what a spirit box is. Wrong camera, this one here. So there we go. See it? Yeah. So that's the spirit box. Now the concept of the spirit box is, can you break on my cue card there? Oh. So what a spirit box does is it scans at about 100 milliseconds, a scanning speed, and it scans through radio stations or radio waves. And supposedly what's supposed to happen is that ghosts, entities, spirits can actually talk to the white noise in between the channels. Now, because the ghost box is scanning so quickly, to hear multi-syllable words, syllabical words, is probably next to impossible because it's scanning through the channels way too fast.
Or a consistent sentence or word.
A consistent
and the
word.
same voice. That's what you're looking for too. The same vocal tone.
And we're looking for intelligent responses.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you use the ghost box, the problem is if you actually use the ghost box with an open speaker that everybody can hear at the same time, what's that left to? Audio matrixing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So audio matrix, everybody's going to hear what they want to hear. So audio matrixing is the same thing as visual matrixing. It's if you hear something that you can't understand, if you're looking for a name, that's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear a name. So how do we as a team get around that? Is by using noise reduction headphones. So the person would be connected to this with a set of noise reduction headphones, or as you said, passive headphones, and they would not be able to hear our questions. Now, the theory or hypothesis is that if we're asking questions and this person cannot hear our questions, but they answer our questions, is there a possibility that spirits and entities are communicating through the ghost box to the headphones to the person wearing them? It's a possibility, but we don't have any proof of that. Yeah. But that is the ghost box. But I mean, personally, for me as an investigator, I don't really believe too much.
No, it's really hard to make that a compelling piece. We have to put in a lot of effort or anything that we can take away from that would be scientific. But it's not to say that we haven't had like interesting things happen. Yes, we've had intelligent responses where the person couldn't hear. And
like when Colin was at the jail.
Yeah, you guys will see that in the episode when it's released. It's a really crazy sequence of events, a really just direct answering, like one after the other. Like we were having a conversation with someone and he could not hear anything that we were asking. So we've had stuff like that happen, and we use it in tandem with other pieces of equipment for corroboration. So if we were, getting voices on here, and then, maybe at that same moment we had a visual sort of thing that we all caught on camera, we all saw at the exact same time that a really loud voice came through, or something like that, that would add to it, like
an EMF spike. But then again,
EMF spike.
EMF spike still doesn't mean that it's a ghost or an entity.
Or if an EVP caught it, if we have headphones on, but an EVP caught the same voice, that would be interesting, because it wouldn't even be out loud, it would be in the headphones. But if the spirit was speaking, then the EVP would catch it.
Something that's similar is that for audio matrixing is even like water in a pipe could sound like
well, that's
like
what it
voices,
is.
Right?
Or machinery. And unfortunately, I see a lot of, and this is not to, our purpose is not to, and we'll get into that subject later, it's not about knocking other teams down, but I've heard, of course, as researchers and paranormal researchers, we listen to a lot of groups and the EVPs they post. And personally, my personal opinion was a lot of it is audio matrixing. So, you can hear a sound and you assume it's a voice or an EVP that you caught. Chances are, unless it's extremely audible and you actually get it very clearly, then it could be attributed to audio matrixing. If it's not very clear, because we caught the one. A lot of times it's like you know it sounds like a word, but you're just guessing the closest thing, and then if it happens to be the right answer, that's compelling. But at the same time, you're still kind of guessing, so it still leaves it up to chance. But every now and then you get something that's really clear. Yeah. Well, the one EVP we caught was at the Ottawa G.H.O.S.T. The one that said "come back."
That's EVP. Yeah.
That's an EVP, but that was so clear that it's unmistakable. We can't say this is we're mistaking that for a sound or
you could show
somebody's
it to
jacket
anyone
rubbing somewhere.
And they would hear the same thing. That's what we do with all of our EVPs and stuff. We let everyone. We don't say what we think it's saying. We let everyone on the team, even some outsiders that we trust, listen to it, and we just say, "What do you hear?" We don't tell them what we think it says. We don't suggest anything. And if everyone hears the same thing, then we call it an EVP. But even if one person hears something different, we've pretty much thrown it out. Like,
But we never call it paranormal. Because
call
we don't know if
paranormal. We don't say it's a ghost.
well, it's not
We
a ghost.
define paranormal every 2
Well,
seconds.
I
So I
mean,
think we're allowed to call things paranormal.
I'm very picky on using the word
think they
paranormal.
know
I
what
prefer
we
to
mean.
use unexplained.
That's the same thing, though. It's literally the same semantics. Yeah, it's unexplained.
But unexplained by us, but paranormal means unexplained by science. So there's a little bit of a difference there. So it's kind of like when we did that window at the hostel. We can call it unexplained, but if we like when we did with what was the guy's name that we met with from who was an expert on window dynamics.
Yeah. I should know this.
Kem.
I've
His
been
name was
seeing
Kem.
this review.
Sorry, Kem.
Chem Dubé.
Kem Dubé.
Yeah.
So we had talked to Kem Dubé, which he's a what's his title? He's into stack effect, wind dynamics,
Yes.
Air pressure specialist.
air pressure, like an HVAC specialist.
Yeah. Yes.
So he had said that
Dealing with all the like the electronic equipment, sensors, whatnot.
yeah.
To-
So he had said that it wasn't he couldn't explain the window opening. So that we might be able to call paranormal because we actually got the advice of a scientist, somebody who specializes in that field. So that the window we could call paranormal. Other stuff that we haven't consulted with science academics, we're going to call as a team unexplained. We'll call it paranormal when we actually have somebody from the science community that says it's unexplained. Then we say, okay, well, somebody from science says it's unexplained, so it's paranormal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to scroll down, Phil? Okay. I don't think we're there yet. Okay, so how about we get into, you want to talk about something about the electromagnetic fields, the difference between electric fields, magnetic fields.
Yeah.
So, we all know that stuff, but I'll let you explain that.
Yeah, well, it goes even beyond what I knew. I never really thought about it that hard. We say electromagnetic field. We say EMF. But I hadn't realized that there's also just separate fields. There's electric fields and there's magnetic fields, and they behave differently. One, I'm going to make sure I don't get them mixed up, but one is from currents that just are there, even if it's unplugged, there will still be, I think it's electric.
Wouldn't that be considered natural electromagnetic fields, as opposed to
No,
electrical fields?
Well, no, if it's coming from an electric device, like plugged in or not plugged in, that's not natural. There are natural magnetic fields. If you have magnets or, like, there's ley lines, which I was going to talk about further in, like, the whole topic of what I'm covering is sort of things that contribute to paranormal activity, things like conductors, things that can trigger activity, so things like, the theories of running water, ley lines, conductors like copper, gold, silver, even emotional turmoil. There's a lot of angst or dysfunction emotionally. Our energy emits. We actually do have an electric field. Our brain neurons create an electric field. It's very, very small. That's why if you held an EMF up to you, it wouldn't detect anything. It's like a millionth of a volt, but we do have these, and if we have outbursts of energy or things like that, that can throw bursts of energy into the atmosphere, and if we have magnetic sort of, not a lot of people have giant magnets in their homes, but there are things, natural and man-made, that can cause pre-existing activity to become more severe, or it can trigger dormant activity, especially things like residual energy, if it's just been sort of stored in an insulated sort of like the wood or the stone of a building, and then something can trigger it. You bring in some strong EMF or some electrical current, it can trigger it all back up into the atmosphere, kind of stir it up and have that start causing activity. Just anything that it can that paranormal entities can kind of feed off of, which we believe is generally electrical or magnetic fields, is sort of either what they're made out of or what they use to feed off of, so that they can manifest.
So the hypothesis is that the entities and ghosts or spirits, they need some form of energy to materialize or to communicate.
Whether it's like a natural resource, running water creates a lot of energy, as we know, because
power plants that are across the street, like in Villisca.
Anything that we as humans can gather energy from, we have turbines and stuff like that. That all creates energy, so they're using that. I don't know high sunlight. It's not one of them, maybe. But yeah, there's all kinds of things in the natural environment. So that's why we have a checklist of things when we're in investigation. We try and look into. I try to look into like the ley lines of that location. We try and pinpoint where the nearest big body of water or running water is. Even like just a stream, if it's got some movement to it, that can still be just as much as like a big body of water.
So that's something that might be a problem with us with that Liska, because there is a power plant right across the street. I think it's like 100 feet away. So obviously
it could be a problem, or it could be what's making the entities
what
so powerful.
What they might be feeding off.
Depends how you look at it. It could be a problem for our equipment and base readings and on a scientific level. But then, if we come at it from the angle that it is possible that paranormal entities exist and do feed off this, that could be in our favor. That they have a good feeding source, and they will be able to manifest that much stronger. So we'll have to let the evidence talk at that point rather than the preliminary sort of measurements that we take, I guess.
So, did you want to add anything to that?
Well, I'm just going to clarify, like, so electric fields, they're produced by voltage, and they're present anytime an appliance is plugged in, but even if it's turned off.
Kind of like a microwave.
Yeah.
Because we did that the last time. It was already the microwave was off. It was already it was still registering some electromagnetic
that would
field
be
from
electromagnetic
the magnetic field. Yeah.
I didn't even know you actually.
So when you turn it on, that becomes electrical magnetic field on top of that. Yeah.
And just a tip: if you pay hydro at home, you are paying in like I think it's called stray electric sort of costs.
We're surrounded.
Even if your stuff is off, you're still paying because it's still using electricity. You have to actually unplug it out of the power bars. Just so you know, I've started doing that and it saved me a little bit of money.
It constantly draws energy. So I mean, any kind of electrical appliances will you know, not everything will have continual.
I've noticed it comes in surges sometimes. That's why sometimes we have to be careful when we have an EMF spike when we're doing base readings or whatever. I'll stand in that spot for a while, move it around, and be like, okay, it's here. And then it'll go down. I'll be like, oh, that's weird that it's disappearing. But I'll wait and see if there's a pattern to it. Sometimes it'll go back up, and then 20 seconds goes by, and then it goes back up, and I'll count in between. Because if it's every 20 seconds, then I know it's just an electrical surge of some kind that's on a regular pattern.
It could be cyclical.
Rather than a fleeting entity, you know, that wasn't there before.
But that's why we take base readings.
Yeah, but it can even happen in base readings and be like, that's weird, there's nothing like that you think is electrical, but still things kind of surge and they can do it in waves. Anyways, but electric fields can also easily be shielded by things like trees and buildings and walls and stuff like that, whereas magnetic fields are not easily shielded. Barriers don't really make a difference. Magnetic fields are measured in Gauss, which I think our EMF measures in milligauss.
Well, that's one thing I want to get is I want to get a tri-field natural EMF meter, which is very different. Yeah, it's very different from the ones we use right now. That I know for a fact.
Okay. And magnetic fields are only they're produced by current, and they're only present when an appliance is plugged in and turned on. Neither of these things are particularly bad for your health. No long-term diseases or anything have been linked to these, even if you're standing underneath like a power plant and you get that tingly feeling on your skin. They haven't really linked anything serious to it, but as we've talked about before, EMF, if you're exposed to like high levels of it can make you like kind of paranoid or just feel like you're watched and even like hallucinate, so you can have short-term effects.
Well, any levels above 2.5 from what I've heard. Anything above 2.5 can actually affect your physiology and your thinking processes. It can actually affect your mind.
Okay.
2.5 and up.
And the electromagnetic spectrum is actually huge. Like we're really only working with electric and magnetic frequencies, but those are just the lowest frequencies. But then you go a little higher and you get radio frequencies, which we use with the G.H.O.S.T box. And then you go and you get microwaves. And then you get your visible light. And then you get ultraviolet. And then you get X-rays. And then you get gamma rays. So, I mean, I think we do have like something that has a full... Do we have a full spectrum?
No, we don't. That's the
there is equipment like
that. That is the next piece of equipment on our list is a full spectrum camera.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the electromagnetic field is actually a big spectrum full of other things, but we're really just dealing with the electric kind of currents and and the magnetic or electric voltage, and then the magnetic currents. We're measuring those, and we're dealing with radio waves too sometimes when we use the G.H.O.S.T box is really the only one that works with a radio, but yeah.
So, recapping. Let's say this thing. Verdict. What is it? Is it a scientific piece of equipment?
Definitely not on its own.
No, it's not.
I think we do it in a way we're getting there.
Well, again, it's experimenting with pieces of equipment to see if it actually works.
Yeah,
That's what
I
we
think
do.
when we
as a team, that's what we do.
When we use the Faraday cage, which we've worked and experimented with, and it seems to work the way it's supposed to quite well.
Well, I think we tried it at the Willow.
Yeah, it filters things out pretty well.
But I think it was very minimal.
Once we have some passive headphones, then we're using we're doing the best that we possibly can noise cancelling wise. Passive is that's the most that we have technologically that we can use.
Yeah.
Once we show them, okay, there is sound coming through, we really can't hear anything.
Yeah.
And then, we've eliminated the bias, and then, so if we have someone in a whole other part of the building asking the question, so literally we can't possibly hear them, and then we're having intelligent responses corroborated by another piece of equipment, then I would say, yeah, it definitely could be scientific.
So basically,
I wouldn't throw it in the trash or anything. We keep it around because it's workable, but we need a lot of other things.
So basically, we have to back up our shit.
Yeah, we have to do that with everything.
Back up your shit. It's not about just one piece of equipment and actually relying on, oh my god, we heard something over the spirit box, it's a ghost, and then
you hear a million things over the spirit box, and you hear snippets of songs, and you hear really weird stuff.
Especially if you actually do the spirit box, you actually listen to it like this. And I swear to God, I could probably turn this on right now, and our viewers are probably going to hear devil or somebody's name or something like that. And I'm going to try to play this for you guys. Yeah. So, can you hear it on the microphone there? Okay.
I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Okay. So Taylor's going to the bathroom. It's live and unedited as usual. So, the ghost box, which was the main topic, the main subject of today. So, I'm going to actually, for you guys, I'm actually going to put this close to the microphone. I think you guys can hear this. So, I am going to run this for about 1 minute. Excuse me. On the microphone. If you guys could comment on our page, whatever you guys may interpret. I'm sorry. Whatever you guys think you're hearing, please post on our page and comment and let us know what you think you hear. So I'm actually going to start the scanning right now. It's going to be scanning at 100 milliseconds, which is the fastest the spirit box can go.
Yeah.
Good. So let us know if you guys can hear anything.
The devil with us.
I think he might be.
Let's see what they're saying.
It's the devil!
What are you guys hearing?
So if you guys hear something on the ghost box, let us know what you think you're hearing.
I think this is the video ended.
Right?
This is the video ended.
Yeah.
Is this still really loud?
Where would it say that?
Oh, on the Google. Go to Google.
Right here?
Yeah. No, it's still live. Oh, reload your page.
Okay, yeah, it might have just been my...
Yeah, we're still live.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still live. Guys, if for some reason you lose the feed, just reload your page and you'll get it back.
That will also be the interesting thing with this sometimes is we'll just have it on and we won't really be communicating and we'll just get nothing and we'll get static. But then once we start asking questions, then we will start getting a lot more voices and stuff. So that's always interesting and it sort of responds to us.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what our listeners right now are actually hearing through the ghost box. And that would be, again, left to audio matrixing, right?
Yeah.
Because, let's say if we ask a question, Kyle, ask a question.
Is
there someone... Yeah.
Is there anybody here with us tonight?
What city are we in? I see my brain is going to want to hear Ottawa.
Yeah. And mine's going to want to hear Maxfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounded like Cornwall.
Yeah.
Because you
want to hear Cornwall.
Yeah, you want to hear Cornwall.
Yeah.
Let it run for a little while longer. So guys, please comment on our page and let us know what you think you're hearing on the ghost box.
Maybe if you have a question.
And I'm sure you all see that you are all hearing very different things from each other.
So if you guys want to ask a question, go ahead. And we're going to keep the ghost box on and see if maybe there's going to be an intelligent response.
Are you standing forward or reverse, Miles?
Actually, let's see.
What?
I think I went forward. No, because the writing is so small, my glasses...
Going up in numbers.
Yeah, my glasses are so crappy, I can see those.
I believe we're going forward.
I think we're going forward. I don't think it makes a difference, though, if we go forward
we
or back.
rotate, but I like to go backwards, but it doesn't make any difference, I don't think. And to Rebecca, saying that you carry a large electrical current. I don't know, I would have to research that more. Some people are maybe more staticky than others. People, there is that man.
There's different levels, yeah.
Yeah, there's that extraordinary person episode I saw on a man who literally is electrically conductive.
Yeah.
Just hold light bulbs and like he has an electrical current through his body. He's an anomaly though, but yeah, I guess people probably carry it to different amounts.
Yeah, some people where their hands. They can get their hands really warm.
Yeah.
They're actually.
She says she gets shocked with almost anything and blows light bulbs and stuff.
Yeah.
Can't wear watches. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Ghost would really like you.
Does she want to go to Villisca with us?
Yeah, you want to come be a conductor for us?
We got a couple extra spots to go into Villisca.
I always wear lots of copper before I go on an investigation, which is probably not smart. I don't really want to be an antenna for ghosts necessarily, but you know, I want activity. I want to be able to kind of conduct energy and give them food and whatever they need. So
I'm gonna stop.
Radio noise, yeah.
I'm gonna stop the ghost box now.
It is radio noise. Okay. That's exactly what it is. So yeah, a lot of beep boop beep blop. You hear little instruments here and there.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it now. Okay, so if you guys have any comments on what you think you might have heard on the ghost box, let us know. It'd be interesting to see the responses, to see if maybe some of you actually came up with the same answers, or it's a lot of audio matrixing. Again, the spirit box, which was our main topic today. Personally, as an investigator, I don't put a lot of faith in this machine. But then again, who are we to determine
what works and what doesn't?
To
try and make it good and try and use it with other stuff and
well, that's
use it for fun. Like we use it at the end of the night when we're all tired and exhausted and we just want to do something cool.
Well, I think that's the whole fun about doing paranormal research.
When we have guests with us and stuff,
we can really mess around with these little pieces of equipment and see if they work or not.
Yeah, we test them out. And sometimes we're surprised and sometimes we're not.
Well, kind of like the Jill. We call him, that was a surprise.
Yeah, that was our first
he was
time
he was coming up with these
experiment
intelligent responses every time.
Yeah.
And he couldn't hear our questions.
No, that was the first time we used the headphones too. I don't think any of us were really expecting it to work like that, but it really made such a difference.
Okay. So we had posted. So do we have anything more to add about the spirit box? We're still going to use it though, right? On investigation, we're still going to use the ghost box.
We just always will put out disclaimers. So like, it is what it is. Like,
Don't take it
that's
too
what these
seriously
episodes are
because
for. We
it is
explain
it is a paranormal toy as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You know, so don't take it too
Same with
seriously.
the Obulus, which is kind of lumped
Obulus,
in
another thing,
similarly.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
basically the same thing.
And you
but
got the
having-
Kinect camera where little
Yeah.
stick figures are
Is that
kind
where
of
you're-
dancing around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Or the one
we
where you
actually
type in the question and then.
actually I
it
got a
has-
Kinect camera. Which
There's a lot of them. You've probably seen them on Ghost Adventures and stuff.
on a lot of shows.
I think they're interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't own. That's the only similar thing that we own here. I know
Well,
there's
I think this
apps
is
on phones for Obulus type things.
well, I think
but-
this is the only, and I heard this from somebody before. This is the only quirky piece of equipment we have.
Quirky.
Quirky kind
Oh,
of
quirky.
quirky kind
Yeah,
of
the
piece
rest
of
is totally like scientific. It's more for professional field. Like
Yeah.
EMFs are for like people who work in electrical
Yeah.
work. Like
Because
they're
we don't-
professional
we-
pieces
yeah.
of things. These
because
are,
we don't use EMF to detect ghosts. We don't.
Yeah.
I mean, there is an hypothesis that maybe when a ghost is present, it'll spike up, but we use it to take base readings to see if maybe there's high levels, and that's what's affecting people to see stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do. So, so on that subject, and I was talking about the one person who was. Where was I going with this? Sorry, I've lost my train of thought as usual.
Right in the middle.
I am 52 years old, so that happens sometimes. I'm sure Kyle behind the camera will agree. You just turned 50,
Where,
right?
yeah. Where am I again?
Oh, you just turned 50, eh, Kyle? Did you? Did you just turn 50, Kyle?
I may have.
Yeah. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm still the oldest in the group. I'm still the old fart. So, we are looking for new members, right? We've always have been looking for new members.
Yeah, we need some
and-
extra support, at least on smaller tasks.
Yeah.
We need help with review. We need help with, just helping us scout out locations, and
Yeah.
like we always kind of need help with that. Those are just.
But
constant-
again, trying to find some new members is not easy because I know that when people want to apply on our page, there's a lot of minimal requirements, and yeah, we're picky.
Yeah, we have.
And I'm sure Taylor will agree. I'm a bit of a hard person to get along with, right?
I wouldn't say hard to
Come
get
on, go
along
ahead,
with.
say it.
It's just collaborating as a team. Everyone has to be cohesive, and it's hard.
It's
You
tough.
have
It's
to
tough.
have people with the
Yeah.
scientific mind frame. They have to come at it from the right angle that we
Yeah.
are so strict about. They have to be willing to put in the time and effort that it takes. It doesn't really pay, like not a lot. at
Not
least.
yet.
Not yet.
We hope
And
it's gonna pay one
It
day.
is like a part-time job. I'd say maybe full-time, depending on what your task is within the group. But
So I think it's like kind of going golfing. It's a hobby, right? Golfing.
Yeah, it's a hobby, but it takes
That's
a
what I
lot
tell
of
my
time
wife.
and energy,
Yeah.
and it costs a lot, which you
Yeah.
generously out of your pocket pay for us to go to certain locations. And I mean, we do host events every now and then, but we will be starting a GoFundMe that might help our endeavors in the future, mostly just travel expenses and renting things out and getting new equipment that you guys want to see us play with. Like a full spectrum camera would be really cool.
So let's get into that subject. Of course, you guys know that we don't get paid for this. We are an organization, so we're not, how would I say this? We're not, quote unquote, a non-profit organization. If we do make money, we put it back in our team. We do fundraisers and events for certain locations. But we are, to make it very clear, we are a paranormal research team. It's what we do. It's what we do. So, of course, because we're not getting paid for this, we try to do workshops, we try to do events and stuff to raise funds because, as you know, you guys, and as you know, you guys, we're going to call this our Ghost stateside road trip.
Woo!
More stuff coming. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. So we're not paid for this. We do this because we're passionate about
Yeah,
it.
we love
It's
it.
what we love doing this, and for me, like I've told you guys before, for me it's an obsession because of the experiences I've
Me
had
too.
before.
My whole life has revolved around this, for sure.
It's an obsession. So we don't make any money at this. So Taylor is going to be working on a GoFundMe page.
We just
To help
follow our
us,
pride a little, but we need the help. Like, we need a little bit of help.
We need some financial help. I mean, we pay, everything's paid out of our pockets, and we want to bring you guys some interesting stuff to view, interesting investigations, but everything costs money. So Taylor's going to be working on a GoFundMe page to help raise some funds so we can actually pay for our trip to Villisca and go to different locations, maybe in the States.
Fun, exciting locations.
Yeah.
Like the jail, all those famous sort of locations that you want to see us in that really have all the crazy stuff happening. Those cost money. You have to get staff overnight to make sure that you have security, or a lot of these places are sleeping arrangement places, so we have to cover all the business they would be losing of people in those rooms that they're not using to sleep in.
Yeah. And we're not an event-based kind of team. No, it's not what we do.
No.
We don't do events.
At this
it's
point,
not
we're
our
doing
thing.
most of our workshops. We're giving all the information we would have been doing in our workshops on here, kind of
for free.
Yeah, because this is what we used to kind of cover.
But it's not the same thing when it's live and you get to meet us.
It is
it's
really
a little
cool.
bit better.
We take you with us. You get to use.
The equipment. Yeah,
we're
so
usually in a real haunted location. Like it's totally worth it to go to those things too. But yeah, we just need a little bit of help, and but also it should be noted that if you are local or even within Ontario, we do private residences for free. We never ever charge to come investigate your home with your family. If you're got stuff going on, like we will go through our process of pre-investigation. We'll make sure that you check out your sound mind and that your story checks out. But we will come help, especially if there are children involved. That's like our top priority above any other investigations we have, and we don't charge ever. That's to help people.
We have to, of course we need to fund our team, so we make our money with either which is not our thing. We're a paranormal research team. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We research the paranormal. But of course it costs money, so we need to fund the team with events, maybe selling tickets. Trying to stay out of the red. I gotta have somebody pay for my golf course, right? So anyways,
equipment is expensive.
It's expensive too, and so Taylor's going to be doing this GoFundMe page, and now we're at now we have hold on.
No, I'm just showing him one bit. Just go ahead. You're talking about tickets, so
I lost my train of thought again. So that's how we fund the team: either selling tickets, doing workshops, and maybe doing fundraisers.
I will when I make it. I'll put the links on the page. I haven't made it yet, but we're gonna figure out just a small goal. We're gonna try and stay humble. We don't want like a ton of money, just enough to cover gas
just
like stuff. Just to how much it actually wasn't that expensive when we split it amongst us to get Villisca. Yeah, it's not that bad, but
no, it's gonna be a hell of a road trip though, Villisca.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna say Villisca because Villisca is gonna be our final destination. We have actually bring up my cue card. Yes, I have cue cards. No, that the cue card.
I know.
Kyle!
Don't worry about it.
Okay, so scroll up from Kyle. I was going to print this, but I'm out of ink on my printer, so I have to go with the cue cards on the monitor here. So go up for a minute, Kyle. So I just want to make sure we covered all the topics we want to cover, so go up to the top. So we went for those locations. Okay, unfortunately, we couldn't get to talk about the thermal camera. Kyle, we're gonna do that at one point.
Yeah.
Talk about the thermal camera, which is another big piece of equipment that a lot of teams use, and so do we with thermal camera. So that's gonna be another episode. We'll talk about the thermal camera. So scroll down, Kyle. Okay, announcement. So we are, initially it started out with Villisca, right? We're only going to go to Villisca, and
we just might as well make that long trip worth it.
Yeah, so bring that back up, Kyle.
Okay.
The cue card. So now Villisca, this whole road trip, this Ghost stateside road trip started with going to Villisca for August 16th and 17th, and now it's blown up into this huge thing where we're going to be departing from Ottawa on August 12th. This is going to be a 1 week road trip for us. It's going to be a 1 week road trip for us. Now, this is something we talked about today before the meeting. We're going to be going to 3 other locations on our way to Villisca. So Villisca being the final destination. Now, we talked about whether we're going to actually divulge this first stop on the way to Villisca. Now, Kyle is there. You're here. Do we say it or not? Actually, ask the fans. Do you guys want us to tell you? Do you want to know where we're going to be stopping first from Ottawa? The first location we're going to stop at once we leave Ottawa.
We don't know.
On our way to
Kind of
Villisca.
secret. We want to make sure we've staked our claim.
Yeah, remember you heard it
and
here
remember,
first.
if we do divulge this location, remember you heard it first here on on Ghost Talks from our team. So let us know. We'll get back to that subject in a minute. Let us know if you want us to let you know our first stop on the way to Villisca. A little hint, this is going to be an insane asylum. So that's going to be a first for us. And you heard it first here on Ghost Talks. So, on top of that, we're going to be doing... On top of that, we're going to be doing 2 more locations on the way to Villisca. This one place, which we may divulge tonight, and on our next show, we'll divulge 1 more, and on the next show, we'll divulge the final location. Hold on, I'm getting interrupted. Anyways, just want to go through a few. Okay, let's go back to this stuff after, because I wouldn't mind doing this with our new guest.
Yeah, we're gonna have a special guest.
So,
you guys get to meet him.
So we have a guest tonight with us. He is a potential new member of G.H.O.S.T. His name is Don Cassidy. Don has been following us for a long time. I've had plenty of conversations with him over the year. He's asked to join our team. So he came to our show today. He's actually here right now. And we had a chit-chat with him to see, you know, how he is in person and how he would fit into the team. So I'd like to welcome Don. Don! Don!
Roll call!
Roll call, Don!
I have dogs following.
There you go. Here comes Don. Here comes Don. Come on in, Don.
Entering a school.
No dogs allowed. Latch the door.
On this side.
Here you go.
Hey, Don.
Go on this side, yeah, the camera.
Yeah, you'll see. You'll
Over
see
here.
later.
Actually, no, oh yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Right on that side, yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Just sit beside the window. Anyway.
So everyone, this is Don Cassidy. I'm sure you've seen him comment on our...
Yeah, he's
On
pretty
our-
involved in
I'm a
the group.
smart
Pretty
guy.
involved in the team. Yeah, he's, Don is a potential new member. We kind of, you know, I've been talking to you now for what, over a year now, off and on, at least a year. You've been following our team for a long time,
Yep.
and you've requested to join the team.
I would like to.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us your take on the paranormal. Like, what kind of person are you when it comes to this? I already know, but I'd like the people to know.
I'm the type of person that my mind doesn't go immediately to it's a ghost.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
or everything's a devil.
Demon. Yeah.
Demon.
No, I automatically go into what did that, what caused that. But there's no, you know,
Yeah.
like I was telling you about the stereo coming on at 3 in the morning 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
downstairs. Like, you know.
So you try to debunk.
Yeah, well, right away I'm like, there had to have been some sort of stray signal from something that turned it on.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
99% of the time it's going to be.
Yeah, because
You're
it's
gonna
your
find it.
remote, turn
Or-
everything on.
Or a timer maybe, or that's...
There wasn't a
instead
timer
of-
on
okay.
it, but yeah, that's the type of thing I go to. I mean, at first it freaked me out because it's 3 in the morning and I've got headphones on,
Startling.
watching something, and I hear bass from downstairs.
Yeah.
I'm like, kids asleep, wife's asleep, and then I'm like, is it my headphones? Take my headphones off, and no, I can hear bass coming from downstairs, and I'm not attached to anybody, so it's not next door.
Yes, I remember you when we first met at the Timmy's. You told me about that story.
So then I went downstairs, and sure enough, yep, the amplifier's on and the music's playing. And so I kind of stood there for a minute, going, okay, what's going on here? But I went there, turned it off, and then I was like looking around. I checked the remotes to see if they were messed up. So I just figure, because everything's wireless now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a Google Home.
Straight,
sitting
you
there.
know, like kind of like remote control radio waves. that
Exactly.
could turn
So I
stuff
just
off,
figured
on and
something
off, yeah.
stray hit it and turned it
Yeah.
on. So I didn't go immediately. Oh, it's a ghost.
Yeah.
Oh, my house is.
Well, that seems to be a common problem. A lot of teams, it's a ghost, or it's like when
Well,
we talked about EVPs, you hear one sound and automatically it's a sound. And what I find odd is a lot of teams go to locations and they find EVPs in every location.
Yeah. Well, this is what I
How
was
can
going to
that
say.
happen?
This is what I was saying to you earlier.
Yeah.
I
You
had
listen
to
that,
change
it's
the
nothing,
channel
really.
last night because I was watching the Tennessee Wraith Chasers or whatever they're called.
Yes, yes, yes.
And the one guy's got that camera with the little stick figures.
Oh, the connects.
Yeah,
the
so
connects
he's
camera.
showing, he goes, there's something up in that corner with another guy standing right there. He goes, something just grabbed my leg. Well, if something just
Well, it's
grabbed my leg,
psychosomatic.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say something just grabbed my leg.
You'd
I'm
be
gonna
looking.
what the, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you would define yourself as a skeptic. Believer,
Yeah,
but it's
I
because we
believe
had
there's
conversation.
something.
Yeah.
But everything is.
But not every
I don't
little
even say
thing, yeah.
say it's a ghost.
Most
No.
things are not.
No, not every little thing
You
is a
can
ghost,
find
a
a
spirit,
reason,
an
and this is
entity.
why I was also asking, if you, when you go to these places,
Yeah.
like, especially like, okay, it's a question like about Villisca,
Yeah.
because it's a well-known spot and a lot of investigators go there, the people that run the place, my mind goes to, well, they're trying to make money,
Yeah.
so they could be putting things somewhere to
Yeah.
make noises
It's-
or...
It'd be really
It's a
easy to fake
possibility.
things
It's always a
if you wanted to.
possibility. But I think with Villisca, and I think if you joined the team, you said you'd be on board with Villisca. Okay, perfect. Now, we talked about Villisca, about the hype and the hysteria behind this place, and it is a great tragedy. I mean, you
It is,
got 8 people that got killed with an axe,
Children.
and 6 of them being children. So it's a very tragic event. But I mean, we have to look past that hype and really look at Villisca as
Just a fresh
it is
slate.
just a
I think
house
that's
where
what
there
a
was
lot
a
of people
great
do.
tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people automatically,
I
since
mean,
they
we're
see
on-
it put in
We're
somewhere...
on
Yeah.
land of great tragedy everywhere.
Exactly.
There's ancient Aboriginal burial
Well, my
grounds
house-
everywhere.
Indian land.
Indian
My house is
land.
built on Indian land.
Horrible shit has happened. Oops.
Yeah.
Horrible things have happened everywhere, all over the land.
Live and unedited, Taylor. It's fine. It's fine.
Sorry.
It's,
The people that are watching are all...
yeah,
I'm sure
They're
that
all
I
people like
actually
you.
have several friends that have
Yeah.
clicked on to it.
yeah. They're all people like you.
They're
all
they're old like
interested.
me, yeah.
So,
But yeah, like,
so because when we had a conversation, we were very much alike because, like me, or like we're believers. We believe that there is something after.
Yeah.
Because we had experience. You had experiences. You discussed those with me. You've had experience. I've had experience. I don't know, Kyle. I don't think you ever had.
Recently, I have. Yes.
Oh,
we
recently?
were talking about
Yes.
this in the car ride.
Okay, you haven't shared this with me.
No, well, I'm still.
Okay, we're having
What?
a conversation.
We're not
we're
next
having a
time.
conversation
Next
after the
time,
show.
yes, yes.
Yeah, or later on.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to hear it now.
No,
Yeah.
no, not yet. I'm still investigating.
He's still see
working through it
Kyle, the
rationally
skeptical
in his
mind. He's going to
mind.
try to rationalize this whole
Yeah,
the
for sure.
whole
that's
experience.
the way
We
it
all
should
are.
be.
We
It's
just
all-
can't
Yeah.
even thinking back on
But-
the things like in the moment that we've captured. Where I was like so sure. Even it feels like a dream after, and you just start questioning. You're like, what? Like I don't know.
Here, I'll just give you a
You
brief,
cannot cling to
a
the
brief-
idea that it exists.
a
all
brief
the time.
history. I thought my new Cadillac had a security system, a talking security system, and it doesn't. So I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, Christine.
So much you're hearing.
Kyle's hearing voices.
You're hearing voices in your car,
It's
Kyle?
voices, yeah.
Okay,
Outside
okay.
of my car.
Okay, so here's a new thing. If you want to join the Ghost team, you need to go for a psychiatric assessment first.
Oh, I'm already...
Okay, and Kyle, you're the first one to go.
I go every month for you.
Yeah, so do we. We go every week, actually.
I'm good.
No, not really, but...
We have gone after certain investigations just to make sure it wasn't that.
I have.
You have, yeah.
Actually,
I say we in solidarity.
After
but really
the inn. In,
I think I'm okay. We do have to do
Brando.
that at NRC. It's
Brandon, yeah.
it's mandatory.
There's a plug. There's a
Yeah.
plug. Okay, Kyle, can you bring up my cue card again?
You need cue cards?
Well, usually I print them out, but I ran out of ink.
Oh, okay.
So I have to get Kyle to kind
This
of...
saves the trees. This is better.
Yeah, it does. It does.
fine.
Yeah. Okay. So, this is something I wanted to get into. So, announcement: we're going to be doing some workshops this summer. We have a couple of locations lined up. These workshops are going to be combined with fundraisers for certain locations. We're not going to say exactly where yet because these locations haven't been confirmed. But there's a few workshops in the works for this summer where you guys will actually be able to buy a ticket, like we did, I think, at the hostel. We did a workshop there. And it was $15 a ticket, right?
Yeah.
And you can attend it, and we'll bring our equipment. You'll be able to talk to us. We'll go over certain subjects, explain to you certain investigative methods that we use, explain to you the equipment a little bit more in detail than what we can do here on Ghost Talks, and that's coming up this summer. Now, there's also new investigations coming up, which again we're not gonna divulge right now, but it is upcoming, and a couple of really big projects for us are actually coming in the fall. Again, until we have 100% confirmations on these, we're not going to say anything yet, but there's some big upcoming stuff for this team. Now, that last part I'm not mentioning.
No.
No, absolutely not.
No, I'm not
I don't know
mentioning.
why
Okay,
that's
I'm not after our conversation. I'm not going to mention.
I don't
it.
think
Okay.
we should just ever mention
Yeah.
this.
Okay, so actually, you know what? I have to go to the bathroom. So you take over for now, and then the subject here on the cue
Why
card.
did you have to mention that?
Hey? Well, just so people know why I'm leaving, to make sure I'm not polite or anything. We'll talk about this later, so, you guys kind of, okay, Don, Taylor, it's all yours for about 5 minutes.
5 minutes to go
About
for a
5
shit?
Well, that was life.
Well, I was live!
There's no filter.
No filter. No filter. Okay.
No.
Well, since I haven't really met you or talked to you at all, and since we are asking for new members for certain positions, maybe they can kind of see what the conversation would be like that we would be having with new members. Like we would be talking about sort of paranormal experiences or what led you to be interested in this sort of thing.
I've been interested since I was a kid. I've had experiences when I was a kid.
Most of us do.
And never really figured it out. And then this one particular incident, apparently a cousin and an aunt have had the exact same thing.
No one had just said anything at the time, and now you're realizing.
Yeah, nobody ever talked about anything before, and then we were kind of all just shooting the breeze about things like that, and then they've had the same description of what happened and what it looked like, and it was like it was me, a cousin, and an aunt.
Right.
All have had this same
Separate.
particular thing. So it was like something attached to the family, but
Right.
I have no way of proving it.
Yeah. What is it?
Well,
what was it?
From what I remember, the first time was maybe 9 or 10. And I lived in Canada. I had bunk beds in my room, and I always it was kind of weird. I always slept with a radio under my pillow. This is back in the 70s.
Yeah.
So it was listening to CFRA when there was music on it. And then my head on the pillow, and then another pillow over top of me, so I could just see out if I wanted to see out. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and all I could see was a lumberjack jacket, the black and red.
Yeah, just the plaid.
All I could see was the jacket.
Yeah.
Dancing.
Like
moving, dancing
Yeah.
around.
No body in it.
Well, I couldn't see. All I could see was out that much, so I could only see that. So it had to have been pretty tall.
Yeah.
So, like right next to the bed, and it's not like a big bed, but it's right there, so I'm petrified.
Yeah.
And then my mom woke up from her room, was across the hall, to go use the bathroom, and it stopped. And then when she came out and went back to bed, 10 minutes later it started again, and sure enough it's the same thing again. And
So it was interactive.
Of course,
it was aware
I pulled up my covers, and then I don't remember anything after that until
I
the
never
morning.
understand why people do that.
I don't know.
Like,
I
now
didn't
you
wanna
can't see where it is. You could be like
Well,
right here.
I was so scared, and then in the morning when I woke up, and this is the weirdest part, on my floor, all my fish from my aquarium were on the floor, dead. And the heater in my aquarium had been turned fully up. And the water was just basically boiling.
Wow.
So I've never figured that out.
Yeah, that is weird.
So those other people have seen.
They've seen the jacket.
The jacket as well.
They didn't have the exact same suit, but they've seen that jacket.
Yeah.
But one of them described a donkey head, which was weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And but they've all said the same thing about the jacket.
It's
the same plaid jacket. So that's why I was like, what?
Yeah, that's pretty specific.
So
I've heard of stories about you just see clothing. So that's not the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
Which
just
is
clothing with no
weird
face
that
or.
clothing would go into your afterlife. Like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't your spirit just be naked?
It's just a manifestation.
And this is the same thing
Yeah,
I
it's
feel.
just
It's
a
like,
visual,
like when we were talking about that Montreal, the chick there with who supposedly comes back every 7 years looking for her
Yeah, you were
head.
telling me about that. Yeah.
I like.
That's like the Buck Hill.
And she's dressed in periodical.
Always in a white dress.
How can you, if you're dead, if you die,
Why
how
would
is
your dress go with
why
you?
would your dress go with you? And
Yeah.
okay, so your head's not there.
Yeah.
Well,
But why would you come back looking for
how
your
are you
head?
looking for anything? You got no head.
You got no head. But that's the way we think.
Yeah.
It's that skepticism.
very
I was just
Nature.
filling them in on what had happened to me.
Yeah, because I remember you
Just
telling me that
start
story.
things and
Just going over what some questions we would
yeah.
normally ask in an introducer process, like, what role do you want? Are you interested
I want to
in?
investigate. I want to do it.
Well, we're all
Get in
investigators.
there.
We're all investigators, but then we usually have like a sub kind of task that's our sort of
I think-
I know
think
you're
he's-
talking about looking into the places where we go research.
scouting and
Yeah,
research.
scouting.
Yeah, we definitely need. Yeah, we
And
need
scouting,
Scouting is good.
Finding places would be good.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I told you about that house in Stittsville. I wish we could get in there.
Yeah, I know. You know,
After what
that
my
was a
friend
while ago you
described,
told me that.
oh,
Yeah.
Ottawa and Kingston.
Did he tell you about the
Full
house?
of
and stuff?
stuff.
No, I don't think I told
We
you guys
go.
about
I go
that.
to
Private
estate
rooms.
sales all the time, and there was an estate sale, and I couldn't go. My buddy who goes with me went, and he immediately texted me. He says, "You got to see this place. This is this place has been used for some weird stuff." He says the weirdest. It's an old place, so it was there long before the build up. Like we're well over 100 years anyway. He says, you walk in and you look up and it's like the paint, is chipped and everything on it. There's cobwebs all over the place. And then he said he went to there was one room that has a padlock on the outside. It was open. The guy who owned the house was in there. Inside there were monitors all over for 8 security cameras. But the security cameras weren't on the outside of the house. They were in rooms in the house.
Yeah.
Like,
nothing
on the outside. It was all for rooms in the inside.
Yeah, that was just bizarre.
And focused in the room.
So, he was trying to
So
catch
either he was a
something.
real pervert or
Yeah.
trying to catch him. But then my buddy went to the basement, and he said that's where things were really weird. He said there was like a long stone shelf altar with like a white tablecloth on it, big candle, and wax. They've been doing something down there. And then he said over in the corner there was a noose hanging over. He's like, I gotta get out of this place. So some weird stuff going on there. I don't.
Yeah.
But my mom and she.
This is in Stittsville.
Yeah, my mom lived there when she was a kid. And she remembers them all talking about a haunted house in Stittsville. So.
Were they doing?
I came across when I was a kid. Stittsville was like it wasn't super expanded the way it is. My uncle lived there, and he had acres and acres just behind his backyard. It was forest, and so we would go exploring as kids back there. And we went further back, remember, than we had ever gone before. And we were like in this field, and there was this little like shack. It was like the size of a shed. And it was just me and my cousin. We were probably like 7, and we went in, and it was like a witch's cabin. There were like dead animals hanging. There was like blood like drawn on the walls. There was like ritualistic items. Like we were so excited, but we were freaked out. I was already like I was into witchcraft at that age and stuff, and I had probably seen The Craft by then. So I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. But it was real. Like there were dead things. And
The Craft. That's a whole new subject for us, isn't it?
So, yeah. Won't get into that, but
no, let's not get into that one.
There's
but
all these, I'm just fascinated in all paranormal cryptids, all that stuff.
So would you prefer to do research for the team, or would you be more techie? Or the thing is, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out eventually.
How about reviewing?
About reviewing. We have a bit of an issue with the reviewing's a little
slow.
Yeah, we're gonna have to split that.
All hands on deck.
I've got lots of time.
As long as you have a good eye or a good ear, and you can kind of do like.
And that's the reviewing itself could be a subject alone. Like it's so hard. Like people don't realize.
Yeah, we should talk about our process. There's a lot of processes.
People don't realize how much stuff
all
we
we
have to
see
go
is
through.
on TV is chop, chop, chop.
Yeah,
well we're always filming when we're on investigation, pretty much all day long, all night long. We have static cams.
Because we have the DVR cameras going from the beginning of the investigation to the end. So if we get to a location on a Friday, once we start the investigation on a Friday, the cameras run till Sunday morning. Now we have about 10 DVR cameras, another 2 DVR cameras, and a bunch of, so maybe a total of 14 cameras. So you have to think of 14 cameras going on consistently for 48 hours.
And you can't fast forward or anything because you'll miss stuff.
Yeah,
you have to watch it in real time, the whole thing.
So you can imagine.
Focus.
Yeah, we
you
watch
can't
the
be
monitors
cooking
all
at the
the
same
time.
time. You can't.
Yeah.
You gotta be
Hi, Eileen.
sitting
Eileen used to be our bass controller.
What'd she say?
Eileen was amazing as a bass controller. I wish she would reconsider coming back to us, but
yeah, we love Eileen.
life happens.
How many of you are doing it now?
Eh?
How many of you are doing it now?
We are me, Kyle, Taylor, possibly you, Colin, Adam, Tracy. Tracy and Mel.
Some kind of less core people who just aren't able to give their full time or definitely make it to investigation stuff. So
it's tough. It's tough.
They're here to help us when we need it, and they're kind of like, they just do what they can. But we do need core people.
You told me. You know what? Once you join this team, you're not going to be free no more.
That's good, because I need something to do.
You're going to keep busy.
Yeah. I'm at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
So let's bring up, this is something that I wanted to talk about. We're going to touch on the subject Again, the ghost box was the major subject. If you guys still have any questions on this little machine, let us know on Facebook. We'll try to answer your questions as best as we can. This was the major subject. We were supposed to do thermal cameras tonight, but unfortunately we don't have it with us now. This will be on another episode. So we're going to move on to another subject. This is something that I recently posted on our main page. So I've actually formed a group called Ghost Hunters of Scientific Truth.
Yeah, not a bottle, but of Scientific Truth.
Yeah.
An umbrella.
Yeah, it's an umbrella from our team. So this group is it's going to be a discussion forum. I think most of you have seen it. So I'm just going to read it off of what the description of this new group is. This group is a discussion forum for organized paranormal research teams and private paranormal researchers. A place where we can discuss paranormal matters seriously, exchange ideas, investigative methods, and promote a stronger solidarity between paranormal teams to further advance the field of paranormal research. Now, we've talked...
Constant standard of how...
Constant standard. So I've been in talks with certain people in the States, teams in the States, and certain connections where we're trying to establish something where teams can actually cooperate with each other.
Of like-minded teams, the scientific more teams. There are some teams that are a lot more on the spiritual side of things. We're focusing on people with the same principles and values that we use.
Skepticism,
that's
observation,
scientific
critical thinking. That's what
we'll be creating alliances, sort of. And
you know what, that psychic thing, that's going to be a totally different subject.
We can
People
work
get
with
so
psychics
angry.
because
We
they
could,
are a tool, and
but
we can either
how
help
can we
disprove
say-
or figure out
How can we say
how
psychics
they
don't
work.
have
It's
those
just they get
abilities?
so angry if
We
you say
can't. We
anything.
don't. We can't.
Yeah.
I don't think we are saying that. I just think
Oh,
we're saying
Amy
they don't
got mad
belong
at me.
in a scientific method.
She's not watching.
No, I'm probably not yet.
It's hard to find.
But
a
it is hard because
hard to
I know
find
that psychics
balance.
are. I believe that certain psychics probably may have that
I
ability.
believe people can
Yeah.
feel things.
Feel things or have intuition.
I don't.
I've had experiences
Okay,
with
now
psychics on a
going to
personal
that
level.
subject, and we talked about this, and we talked about this, Villisca. Now you have psychics that have been to Villisca, and they say this is the spirit of
The murderer.
the murderer,
Like, how is that possible?
but the murderer did not die in the house.
Yeah.
So
Well,
how
you
could it
don't
be
have
his
to
spirit?
die in a house. There's also
So you're saying if he died somewhere, he came back to the house.
yeah, there's the theory that the murderer
attached
was
to it,
attached to
yeah.
his house, that there was already an entity in the
Yeah.
house that possessed this
Well,
person to
if there's
cause
an
them to
entity,
kill.
yeah.
Very similar to the Amityville kind of story. So it was that
But
this
what
person.
my point of contention, if somebody is psychic and they go into a location like this, and of course they'll say a lot of stuff, and again, I'm not trying to downplay anything about psychics. It's just, it's our team. That's what we do. Research. It's about being skeptic, about being critical about stuff. And if we're critical about this, we're going to be critical about everything
Yeah.
else.
It's not to say we'll never ever
yeah.
use one. We won't use
I
one.
think
but
I
we
think
may
there is the possibility that some people have that.
one.
I
They have
think,
that
I think what
talent.
bothers me about it is because there's so many of them that are on TV
Yeah.
doing the investigations
Yeah.
have been proven that they were fake.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
they-
we can
like
go
the
back
ones
to
from
James Randi.
Most Haunted.
James
Any of
Randi,
the ones
yeah.
with a motive for money are a lot less
Yeah.
easy to believe, or
Yeah.
ones on TV that are doing famous locations. You can find so much information on the internet about
Oh, the
these
internet
locations.
now is so like you can.
But
They have a
like-
whole team of production people with this TV
The
show
Most
that
Haunted
helps them
crew,
know these
they
things.
got proven
Yeah.
to be.
They have to show
Yeah, there are
results,
lots.
right?
There are lots.
They have to show results.
Well, here's the
and-
thing with, let's say, with Villisca. Like there's been quite a few psychics in Villisca. So, I mean, if they know so much about the location, why are we not getting a name? Like, would you not be able to
Well, they have.
divulge a
Some
name?
people have. Like, if you see
Most people
well,
see
the
the
Ghost
thing.
Adventures episode, they got, like, names on EVP and stuff, so there is pretty common, like, names coming up for investigators. I don't know.
The most proven name was
about psychics,
the
but
pastor or something, or the
Yeah,
the
Kelly,
pastor
Reverend
and the
Kelly, or
homeless
something like
guy,
that. Yeah.
most people
The
think it was him, but he was never charged. For
The
it.
weird thing is, and I can't remember this guy's name. Is it Mansfield? The axe murder that went through Iowa and killed plenty of people.
Yeah, I read about that one too.
Now, what are the odds that maybe this is the guy that did the murders at the Villisca house? I mean, he did
it
do
was
all the
around the
murders
same time, right?
during the same time. He was going around that area. He did kill people with an axe,
Yeah.
and there was no motive. So, what are the chances that maybe this person was the murderer at the Villisca house?
They just didn't have the tools back then.
No, not like you do today. And
But
not
what
like you do
I was
today.
questioning about that is like, before this happened, they were saying they smelled cigarette smoke. There was somebody reading a newspaper in there, and
Yeah.
so what happened there? Like, do you not go and search your house for somebody there, or
Especially if you smell smoke. Yeah.
if you smell cigarette smoke,
Yeah.
you know? So it's part of me is like, you know,
Why would you
you just wonder.
leave it at that and
Yeah.
Yeah, you wonder. Okay, was there somebody else there that nobody
Yeah.
talked about, and they did this, or
Oh, here's one thing I think about. Everybody thinks the murderer was a man. What if it was a woman? Do we know that?
how do you
It
kill
could have
an
been, but all
It
the
could have been,
suspects,
yeah.
they had very
But it was all
good
males.
idea
But
of the
why all
suspects,
males?
because there was the
Just a
homeless
6-year-old.
guy. There was the homeless guy that literally was saying that he was going to do that,
Yeah.
and then there was the not the priest.
The Reverend was
the Reverend,
was a
who
little.
also
He
had-
wasn't stable. He was
You
proven
gotta
to be a little
really
mentally.
deep sleeper, though.
Yeah.
8 people? How do you kill 8 people? with an
Well,
axe?
you know what I heard? One of the rumors was that maybe they were drugged prior
That's
to going to bed.
what I was.
But that
wanting.
would mean that somebody was already in the house.
Somebody was in their head.
Because
now.
trust me, I mean,
access to something
yeah,
else.
I mean, if I'm lying
screaming
beside my
now.
wife and she gets hit with an axe, I'll probably get up and I'll scream or do something.
Yeah, people would have
And
heard
obviously everybody else will get up. But how can you kill 8 people
In
a
their
row
beds.
in their
in their
beds.
beds
Yeah.
and nobody hears anything and nobody wakes up?
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird situation. Of course,
That's
it's
why I was thinking there had to be more to this, that nobody,
so we're talking maybe more than one person doing this.
or somebody, yeah, it
Could be multiple murderers at one point. You
Or
know?
somebody did get in there and did drug them somehow.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll
In their
get some
food, drinks.
answers.
yeah. Maybe we'll get some answers.
I mean, if
But
you
again,
shoot
when
an
we
axe straight to the face, there's no sound coming out.
Yeah, but the other people,
the other people, want
Would
to.
yeah, I
you,
guess
huh?
that. I guess that. Yeah.
especially when you're all in the same room. Like that.
But this is what
Yeah.
we're going to be doing in Deliska. We're going to be researching all these possible scenarios of what might have happened and
We'll try and
why
reenact.
is this
That'll
place
trigger
potentially
some
haunted?
stuff, I
Like,
think, for reenacting
Well, there's a
things
couple
in the
of my
beds and
friends
stuff.
who live in Kansas were on watching too. Right
yeah,
now,
oh, in Kansas.
message to everybody. Well, I've
Okay.
got friends watching from Kansas,
Yeah.
Texas, a couple from Texas, I think,
Yeah.
and another friend. Yeah, so there's a few people that are interested in watching. So
Okay, so I guess we got off subject. So, anyways, we formed this new group, which is
Umbrella group.
which is an umbrella group off of Ghost Hunters: The Bottle of Scientific Truth. It's called Ghost Hunters of Scientific Truth. This is open to anybody who's a serious paranormal researcher, and we actually welcome any teams to join us in this. This is going to be a forum where you can have discussions about the paranormal, discuss evidence, get criticism, maybe from other peers within the group, and
show
it's
evidence you've got, and we can all
share
kind of
evidence and
see.
actually, and this is something we're trying to promote with another team out of Florida. It's kind of like a coalition with a team from Florida and some other different people that we're trying to promote. And I'll admit, I'll be honest that when I first started Ghost, I was somewhat of a competitive person, and I think it's time for that to end. I think teams need to cooperate with each other. We need to form a group, standardize the
Methodology.
investigative methods.
So many groups are just doing it, just saying, "Oh, that's an orb," and listen to this EVP, and you watch their stuff, and you're like, "This
Yeah.
is
Talk about
nothing,"
orbs.
you know. And they're getting
Yes.
attention, and
Yes.
it's giving people the wrong idea. It's not educational. They're not.
No,
they're,
it's not.
They're
It's
doing
not, so.
harm to the scientific community
can't-
the metaphysical community. We're trying to make ties with the scientific community so that we can get real researchers, real physicists to be on our team and be really delving into what happens after you die, you know, because it's got such a stigma right
But when
now
everybody defines anything as an EVP is ridiculous.
yeah, we need people
Unless
to
it
take
comes out
seriously, be
absolutely
skeptical,
clear,
be picky.
absolutely
But
clear,
my
like a class
questions
A,
are-
Yeah.
My questions would
or intelligent.
There's
And
so many
Everyone
radio
is-
waves
Sometimes
out
it's
there.
not even a voice; it's just a disturbance in the.
well, it could be like this,
Yeah.
and some I heard
It sounds
hello
like a
or something like
whisper.
that. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
whisper.
there's so many radio
Anything-
waves out there,
So
and
many things.
anything could cross
Yeah.
onto a
And
signal.
just quit showing orbs. Just if you
Yes.
got an orb, it's
Yes,
just not.
enough with the orbs.
I
It's not
agree
orbs,
100%.
It's no orbs.
Yeah.
It might be a
It's
ghost, but no one's ever going to be sure, and it just doesn't count for anything.
Yeah,
Anyone
orb
who's
photography.
serious
Orb
about that.
photography is
Unless it's got a
so.
face and feet and hands.
Yeah.
Well, I think at one point when we talked about, I think this might have been on one of our first episodes, we talked about visual matrixing.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, it was you, it was me. I had explained why people, when they see something they can't, like in a picture, and they see a form they can't actually identify, most people associate it with a face. Now, the reason why... Pareidolia.
Yeah, you can see a face in it.
Yeah, but the reason for that is that as infants, the most familiar thing we recognize is our parents' face. It's that secure thing. It's like, okay, we're infants, we see our parents' face. So when we see a shape, either in the clouds or in a picture, that we can't identify, it's always a face. 90%. I've never heard somebody say, oh, there's something in the picture and it looks like a dog or a cat. Or an animal. It looks like a person's face.
It comes in any kind of form. I mean, if you're looking at the clouds, trying to see shapes in the clouds, your brain will find something. It will
something
make
that's
sense.
familiar.
It'll make some kind of familiar symbol, just a basic kind of symbol shape, a star, a heart, a basic dog. Very simple child sort of shapes, but that's what we get the most. But definitely faces is what we get the most. And matrixing. There's so many little splotches and stuff that I can make up like eyes and nose because there's so much intricately kind of going on.
Actually, talking about this, me and Dawn talked about this. Okay, this is gonna be kind of funny.
Sitting on the toilet?
Yeah. Have you tried this before?
Probably.
Okay, how many of you? Okay, this is something we could post on Facebook, live and unedited. How many of you have sat on the toilet and looked or stared at the floor and saw, oh, I see a horse, or I see a dog, or I see a cat? Guaranteed 99.9% of you have actually done this. You've sat on your toilet, you've looked at the floor, and you saw
I've done
faces.
That in a million different
One
environments.
could be lying on your back.
Everybody sits on the toilet.
But everybody sits on the toilet. What else are you gonna do there?
Yeah, if you have designs on your tiles and stuff,
Well, I've seen the devil on my tiles. I've seen a dog.
Well,
I've seen
for reasons for that.
I've seen a woman from the 1850s on my floor in the bathroom.
Perfect.
But again,
when I shedded hair, I don't anymore because I have dreadlocks, but I would, stick it on my shower
did you
wall.
actually cut them off?
Yeah, they're tied
No,
up.
I have dreadlocks, so I don't lose hair.
Okay.
It holds hair, but I used to shed a lot, and I would always just kind of gather it and stick it on my shower wall while I was showering, and I would always see pictures in
So
the
she's
hair.
not
The
the only
hair
one
would
that
draw all
does
kinds
that.
of pictures.
She spins it on there, and it stays. She forgets it there.
Who, your wife?
Yeah, when she's got any hair.
You know, she might
I was
be.
pretty good. I would
She might be
circle
listening
it
right
up.
now.
And
That's what she does.
Yes. She might be listening right now.
No, she's not listening.
What's your wife's name?
Jessica.
Jessica. Hey, Jessica, if you're listening,
She doesn't care.
he's in trouble.
She doesn't care.
Okay. So, my cue card, Kyle. So, what else are we going to talk about?
So we're just trying to regulate the education that's being pumped out into regular society. Everyone loves great entertainment. We all love ghost shows, but so many people are following these teams, local and less local, famous TV shows and stuff that are just getting away with nonsense that is just absolutely not paranormal. It's probably a lot of it is fake.
Well, we can't say it's fake.
You guys need to know.
I don't want to say it's fake.
Oh, I'm saying TV shows and stuff. There's a good chance. Lots of
I've been on one investigation with another group. I told you about that group.
Yes, we're not going to mention that.
No, we'll leave their name.
Not on live.
But like I told you how they did things.
Yeah.
It's like, why? They wouldn't listen to anything.
Yeah.
And they just kind of blasé about going in and then just sit there all night.
Yeah.
But I've been following this stuff.
Do it right.
I've been following
Why
this
are you
stuff
in
since
this?
the very first time anything came out.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm not a techie person.
Yeah. So we don't have an extra hand there.
I could help out. I wouldn't mind. That way I can learn. I mean, I went out and bought my own.
We are recruiting members.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone in the Ottawa area who's good at
I went
tech,
out and bought my own
helps.
digital recorder and everything. Cost me $100 for that. I still have it somewhere. I never did listen to the evidence that I got. So
You're gonna have a chance to use it.
well, if I can find it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so did we actually decide if we're gonna did we actually mention the?
He said that you gotta say the first one this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so folks, on our way to Villisca, and you heard it first here on our Ghost Talk show, and from our team, on our way to Villisca, our first stop on our Ghost stateside road trip is going to be, cue it up, Kyle, the Edenburg Manor. This location, as we said, we're leaving on August 12th, so our Villisca trip is now expanded to a Ghost stateside trip. This place we're going to be hitting on August. Are we going to say the date, or we're going to wait?
We'll just wait.
We'll just
The
wait.
whole
Anyways,
week we'll be updated.
it's going to be during that week, from the
Surprise
week of the
stuff.
12th to the 18th. We're hitting, and this is booked. This is a definite. We are hitting the Edinburgh Manor, and this used to be an insane asylum, and then it turned into a kind of like a poorhouse for like a hospice for poor farmers. They used to till the land. They used to support themselves this way. Of course, we haven't really done a lot of research on this location yet, because I just actually booked this, I think it was 3 days ago. So we are going, and again you heard it first here on Ghost Talks and from our team, we are going to the Edinburgh Manor, which is not too far from Villisco.
The picture, see?
That's the biggest orb
It's
we
the
ever
biggest orb I've
seen.
ever seen in my life.
That's a big place, man. That's
Oh,
going to
the
be
orb we were
huge.
talking about. The big
Oh,
one.
the orb. That's that's a big one, yeah. It's called a sun.
No, not
So-
the sun. The white thing in the middle.
The
next
ghost. The ghost.
Oh, there's.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you want to cue that up again?
I was looking at this.
to I'm looking at that.
That
like,
one there, yeah.
look,
Okay.
There's an orb.
Look, there's an orb on the left side. Okay, we're not trying to make fun here.
Yeah.
We're not trying to make
Yeah.
fun, but I mean,
That's a big
actually,
sight.
cue that up again, Kyle. That one picture from Edinburgh Manor. Okay. So if you guys look at the picture right now, you look on the left side, bottom left. There's like something. Look there. Kyle's pointing at it right now. I don't think they can see
can't
it.
see us.
They can't see the mouse.
Go up.
But you'll see on the left side of the screen, there's like a big ball
In between the windows.
in between the windows type thing. That is not a spirit
Actually,
orb.
if
That
you-
is either it could be probably
A watermark on a photo.
could be a
probably.
particle in the air. It could be a
Yeah.
particle of dust.
Actually,
it
you
could
can
be a
be,
water particle in the lens. Could be anything.
You can look in a few windows even, and you think
Oh,
you'd
you
see
see
the
things
person.
standing there.
Eh?
I'm sure if you zoom in, we'll probably like right now. If I look at the left window from the entrance where the pylons are,
Yeah.
it looks like there's a shape of a person there.
Yeah.
So that's visual matrixing. So we're not saying that spirit orbs are not possible. It is a possibility, but I don't think we found any proof of it. And this is a perfect
Just not
example.
enough. It's just- It could be a million other things that look the exact same. So, I mean, there's no way. But
Yeah. Unless if you capture maybe an orb on camera where it's moving very erratically in a very weird kind of way, it's going
Yeah.
against the wind, maybe.
If you show us an orb, you send us a message, it better be the coolest, craziest thing you've ever seen. Because we get
Yeah,
people
or
sending us
else-
orbs all the time, and it's the worst.
Yeah, and it's not.
It
it's
better
not,
be, like,
and it's not paranormal.
defying
It's
physics.
not paranormal.
It's a bug.
So, anyways, we are going to Edinburgh Manor. Now, on top of that, there's 2 more locations that we're looking into. One of them is a definite, which we're not going to tell you right now. So now we're up to 3 locations on our Ghost stateside road trip. The 4th, we'll let you know next month.
Oh, you heard it here first.
This would be the second stop after Edinburgh Manor. So, yeah. So, cue card, Kyle.
Yep.
We'll wrap it up. Over now.
We can't see.
Oh, sorry. Wait a second.
Where's there? There he is. Okay, so cue card. Okay, so we'll go up again on the cue card there, Kyle.
Right.
So we talked about upcoming workshops. We talked about that. The new team.
Did all that. So.
Yeah. We did that. We did that. We did that.
Yeah, team members, if you're local, you can go on our website. There's an application form. I will be
The
posting
end of it.
on various pages to advertise to train some people and
Yeah.
you can meet us. And
So again, our draw, or somewhat draw, is going to be on June 29th. One person will win. That person will get to bring one person with them. Now, there's a couple of our team members that can't make it to Villisco, right? On the road trip. So we had anticipated for about 6 to 8 people for the
yeah,
trip.
That's optimistic. It's
Okay, so if
expensive
we-
and it's a
right
long
now-
time off work, so.
But right now, the 4 of us here, me, you, Don, if he joins the team, and Kyle, are probably definite.
Sure,
So there's
yeah.
space for 4 more people. 2 of those spots are going to be taken up by
We may have new members.
some winners.
I really hope we have some new members by
Yeah.
August. So
Yeah.
we can't say that for sure that we're
Yeah.
gonna be getting
Well, one thing I was thinking of doing, and this is a possibility, we may actually have 2 available tickets to join us on this road trip. So these are not going to be draw tickets. These are 2 tickets that you can purchase, and this is you actually buying into this trip, which means as soon as you buy the ticket, you're coming with us. So this is something we're looking into because there's 2 extra spots available aside from the two people who are going to join us from the drawing. So that's a possibility. We haven't decided that totally yet, but we're anticipating about 8 people in total to go to Villisca.
Yeah.
For that road
Yeah,
trip.
we're gonna need as much support as we can get within the team, different positions, and we'll have some fans. That'll be exciting. Yeah, road trip.
Hell of a road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get some more road trips in different locations.
Kansas City's only a
Yeah.
couple
We're
hours
the
from
first Canadian
Kansas City.
team.
It's
First
literally only
Canadian
a couple
team, right, at
hours.
the Villisca.
I
Well,
did tell you about
obviously
that
we're
other
not
one.
going to be the first Canadian
Oh,
team, and
that's
we all know
before.
why that is, but we're not going to get into that subject. So Kyle just Kyle just pulled it up. I think
We
that
are
I was.
first.
So as of yesterday, we are 140 days away from our Villisca Axe Murder House investigation, but we are departing from Ottawa probably on either August 11th or 12th for our road trip. Now, here's what we're going to do on our road trip. Should we say anything like that, or? Actually, we're not going to say anything about it right now. We're going to leave it as is. We do want to keep certain things secret and under wraps for now. We have our reasons for
We'll
that.
have little updates each show.
Little updates. So basically, it's going to be a road trip. Everything's going to be filmed. We're going to do interviews on this road trip. We're going to do different locations. There's going to be tons of stuff going on. Again, let's a little recap today. Workshops coming up this summer. Different fundraisers, different investigations coming up. We're not going to say too much right now until everything's confirmed. We do have our big trip coming up in August, which is this stateside road trip. And we have another big event coming up maybe in September with a team from the States. Somebody I've been talking to. So
Villisca is in Iowa.
it is in Iowa. Yes, it is. So if you guys have any questions, we're going to sign off, but we'll give you a few minutes to ask us some questions on whatever you want to ask, either on the Spirit Box, any other pieces of equipment, on our Villisca trip, or whatever else you want. Just let us know.
Cheryl says if you win the tickets doesn't mean you have to take the week off. Well, no, you would only be probably for...
It's a possibility. It's a possibility, yes. I know Cheryl, so I could probably talk to her privately about that if she does win. But yes, we're planning our trip for August 12th. So there's plenty of time to plan. We are only April next week. So you got April, May, June,
So
July.
your
You got 4
accommodations
months.
will be covered for Villisca, which is only 2 nights. So if you meet us in Iowa just for that weekend and you just do the Villisca, then that's 2 days.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You don't have to even stay the full 2 days if you just stay for a night. But I would say for that travel to make it worth it, you're gonna want to be there for the weekend. There are possibilities you can do other parts with us too if you win, potentially.
Well, the thing is, if somebody takes that week off, I mean, there's going to be the Edinburgh Manor. Any hotels in between the 12th and the 16th, unfortunately, we've expanded on this, and we'll have to. It's going to be cheap, but you'll have to pay for the hotels in between. You will be covered for the 16th and 17th in Iowa. We have reservations for everybody at a hotel that's about 20 minutes away. So that's definitely something we're going to cover. The in-between, unfortunately, some costs will have to be covered. This is a bonus that we're adding to this trip. Of course, with these changes, would we say that people who bought tickets, would we give them a refund for that? Or?
They still would get
Well, because now
paid.
we've changed, yeah.
Like we're just going something else on different dates. It doesn't really change what they would be winning. They still everything's still on the table for that. But they were still paying for their own way there and stuff, right? So they just
So,
meet us there.
Let's leave it at that. If whoever's bought tickets to this draw for Villisca,
We will make it
send
work.
us a
We'll figure it
message.
out.
If you have any questions, let us know, and we'll try to clarify things for you. As I said, a departure date for Villisca is going to be either August 11th or 12th. Tentative, probably August 12th, very early in the morning, to arrive at New Edinburgh Manor for our investigation on August 13th. It's going to be about a 20-hour drive. And of course, you have to have a valid passport. You have to be capable of crossing in the States. So yeah, you make sure you don't have any criminal charges and stuff like that. That's an important thing. I don't think none of us do, right?
I'm perfect.
I'm perfect. We're all looking at each other. Yeah, I think I'm good. Okay. So, anything you want to add to this episode? I mean, we've gone like way overboard.
Yeah, we're about an hour and a half
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
So,
so-
I think if you guys have questions, we'll still reply to this on here.
So let's get an extra 5 minutes in case people have questions, and then we're gonna sign off. So you guys, if you have questions about anything, let us know. You got 5 minutes, and we're just gonna kind of chit chat between us for now. And Taylor's gonna keep checking the feed to see if you have any questions, and we'll try to answer your questions as best as we can.
And everything's delayed a bit, so.
Yeah.
A little while, but.
If I was watching, I'd be asking questions.
Hey,
Yeah.
You worried because usually
You
you're
have
the one-
been here and
you're the
there,
one that
but
asks
I
questions.
think we've kind of answered things within it. So.
Well, what I was saying was, with Kansas City being only a couple hours away,
Kansas
I got
City.
so many friends there now.
Yeah.
Also, I lived 10 years.
Can we do?
Hey girl.
Oh, somebody's talking on the phone.
Yeah, there's a lot of places there too.
Yeah.
A lot of well-known places.
Well, it doesn't mean we can't go back to the States again.
It's caught up now.
Any questions, Dave?
Not like we're good. Oh, I had kind of a question just to leave off so we just get people's input. Me and Kyle were talking in the car about this has happened twice now. Once to the weird thing that he experienced that he doesn't want to talk about yet, but
Not yet, no.
the weird voice thing. But this also happened to us at the jail. That right before we caught an EVP at the jail, and he heard an out loud voice on this separate occasion. There's almost like a suction kind of sound in the atmosphere, like a whooshing sound and like a silence, and that's when it happened. So I'm curious if any other like investigators or anything has ever experienced that sort of weird environmental atmosphere kind of sound right
The
before
whoosh
they.
sound?
Yeah, it's like I don't know,
Yeah.
like it's almost like
It happened at the
gets-
jail hostel.
Did it?
too,
all the
with
energy
that-
gets kind of suctioned.
Yeah.
I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it.
Was
It's
I
very
there?
weird. I
Yeah.
guess if it's
That's
happening,
when the door
you might
moved.
know what I'm talking about, but.
Oh.
So the door
But wouldn't
moved-
that be attributed to negative, positive air pressure?
So no, it was
No,
just
it
the
wasn't. It
sound.
was like
Oh, the sound.
Yeah, it had
The
that
second
whooshing
before
sound,
we
then
heard
that
the voice.
that creak in the jail cell door, and then that 666 freezing on the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't
so-
that when
I
you
heard
heard that
it
gruffy
too.
sound too at the same time? Was that the one?
I don't know, but we caught it in EVP at that moment. Was that the comeback EVP? I don't know. No, it wasn't. It was just
No, it was the only thing we heard was the door,
Yeah.
right? The creaking of the jail.
So I was gonna ask, yeah. So if any other investigators
Closed
or
door.
people have ever experienced that kind of strange sound the second before they've caught something, if anyone knows what that is,
I
and
heard
also
the same thing.
when
Uh,
I've noticed that right before something happens, and I've heard one or two other people who investigate say the same thing, that when you're in the dark, right before something happens, it's almost like the darkness gets blacker than black. Like, you already can't see anything, but then, like, it gets blacker than black.
yeah.
So I don't know if
that's
that's, I don't know, I've just heard those sort of strange things. So if anyone's had any weird experiences like that, and I just don't know what that means or what those things are, but I've heard about them a couple times. So this is a question to leave you off with. And then someone says, are you going to do any near London or Stratford or Kitchener, or know any groups in this area? I mean, potentially, like
Well,
that's
we'll go
not
on here,
too
right?
tricky.
I thought we
Yeah.
were talking to one from out there, or somebody from out there.
There's a couple of places that I've been
Yeah.
looking into right now.
London has some, yeah.
We as a team we don't do we won't go to a location unless there's actually been some
Full
reported accounts.
Yeah.
That's what we do. I mean, for all intent purposes, I mean, we are a paranormal research team. We'll do commercial locations, historical locations, historic sites, private residences. It's what we do. We investigate the
But there
paranormal.
have to
So
be some claims that we're going up against in order to base our method around, you know, to disprove or prove. We kind of need a starting point. So that just something being old and creepy is not enough.
no creepy old
Has to be
location.
a lot of
You
accounts.
just described me.
Yeah, well, so I think we just described me, you, and Kyle at this point, except for Taylor. Taylor's the only young one right now.
I'm creepy, but
Yeah, well, we know that, but let's not get into that subject right now. So no, we go anywhere if there's reported actual accounts of reported paranormal activity. We'll go there. I mean, we're going to the States right now because we want to go to Villisca and these locations and actually find out if these accounts that people have been reporting are actually true or not. So yeah, we would go to London if a location has reported
If
accounts
you
of
guys
paranormal
have
activity.
leads to places, send them in and we'll look into them. Like,
And we'll
VR
send you a
Scouts
ghost
for
patch
us.
for that one.
Yeah.
We'll send you a ghost patch.
That's a good deal. Like,
You
if
have
you
a
guys
lead,
give
we'll
us
send you a ghost
lead
patch.
that we end up actually following through on that is worth it to us. And
Let's
you
show them
give
the
us
ghost
that lead,
patch.
you get a finder's fee.
There's a lot of groups
You
down
get
there.
a nice little patch or
Okay,
a
here's the
mug
ghost
or
patch.
something.
Here's a ghost patch.
There's a lot
Okay.
of other groups down in southern Ontario.
Yeah.
Where's the
Yeah,
camera,
yeah.
Kyle?
Which one you want?
There we go.
Yeah, it's upside down, but
Nope, this one.
you'll get one of
Okay.
those. They're super cool.
You can sew this on your shirt
You'd be a ghosty.
or underwear if you like.
We recently acquired some super fans.
Send us a lead on a location, preferably very close to Ottawa or something like that. But if you do, we'll send you this really nice ghost patch.
Okay,
And
they
this is
get
going to
it.
be for free on top of that. Okay, they saw it. Okay, there we go.
Alright,
All right.
let's wrap it up.
Okay, so we're going to wrap up this episode, guys. Again, if you have questions for us, please don't hesitate to contact us on Facebook, our YouTube channel, and if you have any leads, whatever it is, ask us some questions. There's a lot of new stuff coming up, big events, big stuff for ghosts, and next episode is going to be when? Last Saturday of April. When's that going to be?
April 26th or something.
Seriously, n'importe quoi.
April 27th.
April 27th.
Yeah.
Okay. So our next episode of Ghost Talks is going to be on April 27th. We'll post on our Facebook page the topics that we'll be talking about. I mean, usually we'll have one main topic, and then we just kind of chit-chat about a lot of other stuff. So
Yeah.
that's the whole point of having Ghost
And
Talks.
we'll have the next location.
And we
on
will
that
divulge
road
the
trip.
next location
Maybe a
on our
thermal
Ghost...
cam.
Yeah. Thermal cam? Maybe.
Yes, and the thermal cam.
Thermal cam. And we'll give you the next location on our Ghost stateside road trip, which is coming up in August. So guys, thanks a lot for joining us again tonight and putting up with our silly, stupid stuff. Sometimes we can be silly and we're obviously never on time. But then again, thanks for tuning in, and tune in again on April 27th for our next episode of Ghost Talks, number 6. Take care, guys. Have a good night.
Oh my god. I told you.
Hey?
And that runs on
Well, yeah, so hey guys, we're still live. YouTube's the only one that's live and unedited, so right now it's still going on YouTube. So I'm going to shut that off in a minute.
Oh no, she's been calling me for months. Or months. Last couple months. Yes. And
Just click on the right side, stop streaming, Kyle, on the bottom right.
oh yeah.
Here we go.
Last time she called.
Actually leave it on for a bit, just like that Ghost Talk.
She left a voicemail.
Give it about 2 minutes.
Come over.
The microphone's off, they can't hear us. So we're still live on YouTube because the YouTube channel is like live and unedited, so I'm going to shut that off right now. So people looking at us at YouTube, have a good night and thanks for tuning in. Bye. From Dawn Taylor.